This Minecraft account is worth $100,000 in real-world money. See, when you think about something rare in Minecraft, you might think of an insane seed for the perfect speedrun, or a huge 40 vein of diamonds, or finding a finished end portal. But you might not think of a player. This is the rarest Minecraft account, and today I'm gonna tell its story, complete with celebrities, hacking, and more. Let's get into it, and real quick, consider subscribing. I think you'll like this one. In Minecraft, your username is what makes you, you. But what if instead it made you rich? For just a few thousand of the 40 million players, that fantasy was a reality. Players have been trading rare accounts like these for years in underground black markets, with some of the sales costing tens of thousands of dollars. But out of all of these insanely rare accounts, which one is the rarest? I'll give you a hint. Here's a picture of its skin. It's a piece of Minecraft history belonging to a celebrity, but there's something else very special about it that makes it the rarest account in Minecraft. But what makes an account rare in the first place? Well, it mostly comes down to just two things: the username and the cape. Let's start with the three types of rare usernames. The first ones that you've probably seen are OG accounts, or accounts with a rare username that's usually a word or a name that people use a lot. For example, my account Aiden is OG, but also names like Minecraft, or Obsidian, or Dream. I know, I'm sorry. There are tons of these sold every year, and even though they started as just a few bucks back in around 2014, today they sell for thousands of dollars. Next are invalid accounts, or accounts that break Mojang's username limits. Historically, Mojang likes using these as target practice, and we've lost hundreds of them. But there's still over 100 two-character usernames from the old days, a few one-character names from exploits, a few names that are 17 characters or longer from glitches, and 29 accounts that we know of containing special characters like dots or dashes. Finally, the last rare type of username we have are duplicate usernames, where two accounts or more in the past all share the same username. Right now, there's a few hundred of these, but we're pretty sure that migration is only going to allow one of each to keep playing the game, so sadly, we'll be losing them pretty soon. So, that about does it for usernames, but what about the cape? Almost everyone either has a migration cape or none at all, but we found about 30,000 other capes given out to players, and there's probably a lot more we don't know about. Most of these are from Minecon conventions, with each convention from 2011 to 2016 giving out a cape that's worth anywhere from about $300 to $1,000. Outside of those though, there's also capes for the Realms mapmakers, Minecraft's translating team, the Mojang bug tracker team, the Mojang staff themselves, and some competition winners for Mojang's other games, Cobalt and Scrolls. Rarer than all of them though are the exclusive capes. I have a whole video on these if you're interested, but there's a turtle cape, a birthday cape, a star cape, a prismarine cape, a spade cape, a snowman cape, special Japanese and Chinese versions of the translator cape, and this hellish atrocity given to a guy named Danny B. I guess they really hated him. But for all of these, they aren't completely one of a kind. You might be the only person with your username, but there's 40 million other names out there. So then, how is this mysterious account the rarest in the game? Well, this account doesn't have a special name. It doesn't have a special cape. It has something never seen on any of the 40 million Minecraft accounts before or after it. An account rarer than them all. You might have heard of it before. Deadmau5. For those that don't know, Joel Zimmerman, or Deadmau5, is actually a very well-established techno music artist, one of the biggest ones there is, in fact, along with names like Daft Punk, Aphex Twin, and so on. It turns out, though, he's also a massive nerd. Even his stage name is a reference to finding a dead mouse inside of his PC when he was swapping the video card. Also, how does that even happen? Like, what did you do to get to that point? Anyways, Deadmau5 was actually one of the earliest supporters of Minecraft in late 2010, when the game was just starting to grow. And he even started his own server that brought hundreds of new people to the game. When Notch began to talk to Deadmau5, they got pretty close and became friends, with Deadmau5 headlining the Minecon 2011 afterparty, which was absolutely insane by the way, and Mojang using his music for the official release of Minecraft 1.0. And in return, or maybe just because he was cool, Notch decided to give Deadmau5 his very own pair of mouse ears in-game, for the first and only time we've seen an exclusive Minecraft cosmetic. And because of how rare that is, aka once ever, Deadmau5 is essentially priceless, not to mention the infinite ranks and fame that it has, which would drive the price up even more. We've seen sales for exclusive capes upwards of $20,000, and prices are still going higher, with the highest recorded Minecraft sale ever being an insane price of over $100,000, coming from a guy named Paranoia for a bundle of OG accounts. And again, there's lots of OGs and lots of capes out there. There's only one pair of ears. deadmau5 went inactive a few years back, and that's essentially the end of his story. Oh, except I seem to remember something we haven't talked about yet. Something unbelievable. The day the deadmau5 got hacked. Enter DXN, Dan. He's a player we've talked about a lot here, since his name always comes up in the history of rare accounts. Whether it's the famous $sign account that Mojang purged last year, the Glenn-Stroek invalid that's been passed around like a thing I can't say or I'll get demonetized, or one of the many space names he's collected, Dan is pretty skilled at his job of forcing his way into old, valuable accounts that aren't being used anymore. But it turns out that Dan's interest and skill set branch outside of invalid accounts. Dan gained access to deadmau5. About 3 years ago, and we don't know how, Dan was able to either find the account's information or convince Mojang to give it to him, and he was in, finding tons of new information about the rarest account in the game. For example, deadmau5 doesn't have a cape at all, only the special ears, even though he was at Minecon 2011. Technically speaking, he was never a registered attendee, he was only their DJ, aka a worthless peasant that didn't deserve such a prestigious pixelated rectangle. After years and years of inactivity, deadmau5 was finally back, but not for long. Less than 24 hours later, Joel, aka the real deadmau5, pulled the account back through Mojang in a platform called Skrill, which is sort of like PayPal but for weird people. And just like that, the deadmau5 revival arc was over. At least, that's what we thought. See, the deadmau5 account is gone. It's secure and safe, but it's not being used and may very well never be used again. However, there's one relic of its legacy remaining, the NameMC profile. When Dan gained access to the account a few years ago, he logged into Blockmania, the server partnered with NameMC, and used a command to link his Minecraft account with a NameMC profile. But since Joel never got on to relink his NameMC, he never got control back of the profile, and Dan got to keep it. For a while, he set it back to deadmau5's actual social media to lay low for a bit, but then things started getting weird. For a period of a few months in early 2021, deadmau5's NameMC linked to the Twitch account of a guy named Purple Nolan, who was a friend of Dan's and still streams today. But surprisingly, not long after that, it seems that Dan either sold the NameMC or got it taken away, and now it belongs to a guy named Fraud, who's also pretty well known for his rare account-related escapades, though I don't remember them as being too fond of each other, so who knows the story behind that. Otherwise though, that's it. That is the story of deadmau5. Over a decade ago, an unlikely DJ scored himself a cool pair of ears on an up-and-coming blocky sandbox game by some Swedish guy nobody knew about. And yet, even after all those years, the legacy of deadmau5 still stays strong today in the minds of the Minecraft community. The legacy of nothing more than a pair of blue ears potentially worth $100,000. The legacy of one of the greatest accounts to ever exist. But of course, we all know the real greatest account in Minecraft, right? Okay, thanks, subscribe, bye.